You know, in 2000, the World Championship was a great feeling because ever since I was a kid, it was always my dream. And, you know, once I achieved that dream of winning the World Championship in Europe, I wanted to come to America and, you know, pursue my second part of my dream, which was to be a national champion in the U.S.
I know how good it felt to win a national again, but to win the championship after all these years and going from being retired and not ever racing again to coming back and winning a championship would be indescribable.
Winning the 2001 championship was like a dream come true, and you know, it's going for the second championship this year, and hopefully, I think it'll be even greater than the first one.
My first championship last year in 2002 was great. You know, I had a good time. You know, worked hard and worked my butt off to do that. Especially this year, if I can get it again, this year's been great. You know, I won everything since I've been back. This year, it'd be great if I can win the title. I'd probably do a backflip or something if I do win it. But I'd definitely like to take it down to the last moto for sure. Make them work for it.
And we welcome you to Binghamton, New York for round number 10 of the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship. Today from Broome, Tioga Sports Center. And hello once again, everybody. Todd Harris along with the champ, David Bailey and Cameron Steele. We are getting set for what should be a great race. A lot has been played out. A lot more will play out today. Who will walk away with the title? One thing we do know, David Bailey, with a temperature like this, low humidity, no one should have a fatigue problem. We do know another thing. Mike Brown will not be racing today, and that really makes this thing a two-man race.
This was the scene last week in the first moto, Mike Brown pulling off the racetrack. He pulled off again in the second moto. We talked to Mitch Payton. He said, you know, the only reason he went out there was just to try to keep the title alive. Once he pulled off from there, the title's gone. No reason for him to show up here today.
So there are really just two front runners. Either way, KTM comes out the big winner. For more on that, let's check in with Cameron.
Well, guys, the point standings say it all. Despite his amazing charge, James Stewart is just out of the points chase. It's the two KTM riders, Ryan Hughes and Grant Langston. They are battling for the first ever American championship for the KTM factory. Although, you got to remember, there's two of them going for it from the same race team, and one of them is going to come up just short.
Because there's always going to be rivalry in amongst the teams, you know, because everyone wants to beat their teammate and be the top finisher. So I think there's always going to be that kind of friendly rivalry. But, you know, it's, may the best man win.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's a little bit stressful having the two guys that are going for the championship on the same team. But, you know, I mean, I'm sure we'll try to keep it clean. And, you know, that's not really in my mind. Of trying to ride dirty. I want to beat people fair and square so nobody can say anything about it. And, you know, so that's the way I'm going to go about it, is doing that.
If they concentrate on their own race and have their own race between themselves and not necessarily get into a battle or take each other out, then I think everything should be okay. You know, they're 1 and 2 right now, and things look really good for the championship. And we just have to really concentrate on keeping them focused on what they're doing and hopefully put this together for KTM.
I had a chance to talk to both guys before they came to the gate, and they're both very comfortable in their roles. Grant Langston as the leader or the hunted, and Rhino as the hunter.
Well, I think if I were Langston right now, I'd feel a little bit of the pressure. For Rhino, hey, he can't even believe he's in this position to win a championship. And he seemed very loose there with Stewart as they were in the background of our camera shot, acting like spectators normally do back there waving, trying to keep things light.
As we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid, this is 125 moto number 1 from Binghamton. Don't count out James Stewart. You know, he's going to need a lot of help to get the title. Almost a near disaster for our two front runners, something we don't want to see as the 30 board goes sideways. On a picture-perfect day here in Binghamton, New York, grab yourself a good seat. We are off and racing. Into the first turn, looks like almost everyone stays upright, and it's the KTM of Grant Langston who gets the whole shot. James Stewart goes in there. I don't know if there was contact made, but Langston goes down and Stewart goes to the front.
That was a smart move, it looked like, by Stewart, who decided at the last second to square that corner off and had an inside line. It looked like to me that Langston's front wheel went over that dry berm. And once again, Stewart out front. Back to the chest protector. We haven't seen him wear that in a long time. Even in the 125 class, you're getting hit with rocks up here.
So James Bubba Stewart goes to the front of the pack, number 259 on board the Kawasaki. Brock Sellards, number 18 on his Yamaha, sits in second place. And I hope I didn't jinx Grant Langston, but this is the kind of thing that James Bubba Stewart needs. He needs Rhino and Grant to both have a terrible weekend for him to pick up some points and have a possible shot at a title.
Well, he's doing what he needs to do, and he's getting a little bit of luck as far as Langston going down, opening lap. Remember last week, the second moto, he went down and was able to come from all the way up to 19th or something in the very first lap. So, I mean, he's no stranger to coming from behind as Ryan Hughes. So he's the one that's really coming out smelling like a rose here because he's the one that's closest to Langston. He just got a gift.
Ryan Hughes right now sitting in the back of the pack in third place. So he has made 2 position changes on this first lap, was in 5th, now in 3rd, right behind Brock Sellards. So it's James Stewart, your leader, Brock Sellards in 2nd, and Ryan Hughes, who is 2nd overall in the point standings right now, who sits in 3rd. Well, that is a great shot right there, a lot of speed. I'm sure James Stewart, before the day is done, will air that thing out. Right now, let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Mike, that looked like a pretty tough second corner. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it. I think Bubba needs to have a little more patience, kind of uncalled for. I mean, he's a good enough rider. He can probably pass anybody anywhere on the track, and he tries to force a pass in the second turn, you know, and kind of leaned on Grant a little bit. Maybe, you know, Grant lost the front end. I don't know. We'll have to look at it, but I think it was uncalled for. He can wait.
You know, if I were in Mike's shoes, I'd be a little disappointed as well. You're going for a championship, and you hate to see stuff like that happen. But on the other hand, I mean, from where I'm sitting, look at James. He just decides, all right, well, Grant's going wide. I'm going to cut it to the inside. I don't see contact there. I mean, that's just Grant going down. Maybe they touched legs a little bit there, but you can't blame Stewart for going in on the inside and just taking over the line. You cannot blame him at all. He's trying to win a championship as well, and he could use a little help from these guys making a mistake. And, you know, it's a race, folks. You got to push hard, and you got to do whatever it takes. And that wasn't dirty by any means.
Well, what we do know is Grant Langston has been shuffled to the back of the pack, number 111 on board the KTM. The overall points leader sits way back in double digits, and he will have a tough time getting ahead of everyone else because no one is going to give him a lift up to get him back up in the front of the pack. Meanwhile, we've got a great race here between the 2 Yamahas as they make their way down to this big right-hand turn.
Going way to the outside there was Branden. It's the same line that Stewart took on the first lap. Then Hughes had a crazy line down the left side of that. Not sure if he just got off line there or if he's planning on using that the whole race, but it doesn't have to go through that big dip there and hit a big G out bump. Langston still working his way up, but it's impressive like he was at Millville, all the way up in near 15th. It's not coming easy for him. Matthew Laylaw's getting him back, so he finds out what it's like this past couple of weeks when you're running around and, you know, outside the top 20 and just inside the top 20. There's a lot of banging going on back there, and I've talked to other riders that seem to get stuck in that portion of the race, and they say it's just hard to get anywhere because everyone's running about the same pace, the same line. There's a lot of block passing going on. You can't get ahead. Grant has got a real tough job here to get some points to help keep this title alive.
Meanwhile, Ryan Mills having his own problems. Grant Langston now working his way up to 15th place. So it is a long race. Remember, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon here in the outdoor season. But he's got a long way to go to catch up with Ryan Hughes, who currently sits in 3rd place. So Hughes doing his part, David, being where he needs to be. Meanwhile, Brock Sellards sits in 2nd. And oh yeah, by the way, number 259, James Bubba Stewart, is your leader. There's Rhino, number 105, trying to get through this section, and he's got some strange lines going there.
Just trying to stay out of those deep ruts. It fouled him up as they're coming out of the right-hander heading up the hill.
There's your running order. James Stewart, Brock Sellards, Ryan Hughes, and Kelly Smith back to Binghamton in a moment. Well, the sign says it all. Welcome back to Broome Tioga Sports Center in Binghamton, New York. This is round number 10, moto number 1 to 125 class, and James Bubba Stewart, Team Stewart, has been absolutely dominating. A little bit of a tussle with Grant Langston in the first turn, but it has been all James Stewart. He is checked out once again. Michael Byrne in 7th place, number 32, one of the Australian transplants, having a great year. Not consistent, but he's had some great finishes as we look at the battle for 8th place.
Look at Branden there, sandwiched in between those Factory Connection riders. Just looking like a football player. Hughes, I've said this before, but And every time I see him, it just looks like he belongs on a 450, not a 250.
Brandon's right there, yielding up a position. The track has been beautiful today. The weather conditions absolutely spectacular. No one should be under fatigue because of the weather. Meanwhile, Chris Gosler sits in 8th place, number 39. So Gosler making his way through the pack. And for more on the Ryan Mills situation, let's check in with Cameron.
Well, guys, down here in the pits, one of the favorites from New York State, Ryan Mills, having a problem. Looked like he clipped the pole coming into the downhill jumps. Mechanic's working on his bike right now. Looks like he's going to try to get back out there. Tough break for Ryan Mills.
All right, thank you, Cameron. David, it's always tough when you come to your home state. You don't have the performance you want. For Ryan Mills, this is certainly not what he wanted to do. And in the 250 class, Paul Carpenter looking for big finishes as well.
Well, what I like to see about Mills there is the fact that, you know, there's no way he's going to get points this moto, but he's still going back out there anyway to race. Seems like a pretty tough kid. He had some breakthrough rides towards the end of the Supercross series, good finishes, and then he had a really strong finish up at Southwick. So the speed is there. He just needs to get all that the first year kind of rookie stuff, get all that out of weed it out so he can get up there and battle up front. He's fast enough to run with these guys at times.
Here's Ryan again. Hughes taking that outside line, David. Kind of interesting he gets out on that grass. One of the only riders we've seen doing that as he tries to track down Brock Sellards. Sellards sits in second. Hughes sits in third. Let's go back and look at it one more time, David. What's the trick here?
Watch Rhino coming out of that berm. He's going to get way over to the right. Part of this is that you get over on the harder packed ground. If you're going up a hill, 125 is going to get a little bit more horsepower up through this. Not going to bog you down. Also sets him up better for the left. Keeps him away from the ruts and out of the roost and Sellards. Rhino's been around a while. He knows how to find a few tricks out there on the racetrack.
Ryan Hughes, number 105, on board the KTM machine. Right now, he's behind number 18. That's Brock Sellards riding for Yamaha. This is a great battle for second place. Meanwhile, the battle for 11th as we go back in the pack as James Stewart continues to lead. Grant Langston moving up. He's getting ready to crack the top 10, David.
Amazing who he's caught up to now. That's Boniface, who Suzuki picked up. I thought he might be a little bit more of a problem for these guys. Of course, Larry Brooks trying to be a smart team manager and say, hey, look, you know, you might want to help out your teammates a little bit now that the championship's on the line. Boniface is like, forget it, I ain't helping anybody. So he got benched, and then he decided he doesn't want to ride for KTM. That was already the word on the street anyway. He would ride for Suzuki next year. Not the factory team, but the factory team picked him up here. And I thought he might, you know, he had the opportunity to get in there and mud things up for Langston a little bit, and he didn't do it.
Grant Langston trying to find his way through the pack. What was once a familiar face in Steve Boniface now becomes somewhat of a nemesis, and Langston has picked up yet another position.
Well, Gray reached up to clear his vision, and but not before he slowed Langston down a little bit, and neither one of them could jump that double back there before they headed up the hill. So that's just another couple seconds lost. And every time it takes him too long to get around somebody, it's just more and more points he's losing.
We're coming back to Binghamton. It's Stewart, Sellards, and Hughes. The Broome Tioga Sports Center in Binghamton, New York. This is round number 10, and you are watching the battle for second place. Number 18 is Brock Sellards. Number 105 on board the KTM is Ryan Hughes. He is second overall in the points lead. Second place right now would be mighty fine, David.
I think Rhino's going to, I was just going to say, I think he's getting impatient. He went into that corner back there in the trees so slow. You know, it looked like he could have walked down the hill that fast, and he realized, you know, I followed this guy long enough. A couple extra points wouldn't hurt. Looks like he's in the clear now. I think Rhino will be able to pull away. Good job by Sellards, though, to hold him off for that long. And put together a pretty good week last week at Millville. But right here, he gets into the berm. It squares you across. It's kind of two lefts here. One great big sweeper, basically. And instead of using that berm to square the corner off, he went over it, went wide, and that's what happens when you got somebody like Rhino right behind you. Got to protect that inside.
So your top three, James Stewart, Brock Sellards sits in third, and Ryan Hughes is now taking over the second place position, and Sellards is staying right with him. Third place would be great for number 18, the Yamaha rider.
You see how tough it is to keep your balance a little bit. Those big ruts, you just have to lean. The more you lean, the less you drag your foot peg across the top of the berm as well.
Right now, let's check in one more time with Cameron Steele.
Well, guys, as you can see, the number 52 Yamaha Detroit team rider, Ivan Tedesco, leaving the track. Doesn't look like he's injured. I talked to him before the race. He said he was battling the flu and wasn't feeling up to par. Looks like it's caught him up, and he's taken off.
What a lousy season for Tedesco. I watched him prepare, of course, working with Billaman. I was able to see what he was doing quite a bit. And the guy's fast enough to win races. He proved that by winning at Pontiac, the 125 Supercross, the last race of the series. And I thought he'd carry that momentum here into the outdoors, but he just had one problem after another.
Great battle here in fourth place. Number 61 is Josh Woods on the KTM. Behind him, number 56 is Kelly Smith. David, dispel some of those rumors. Where is Kelly Smith going to be riding next year?
Well, I thought it was going to be with Kawasaki. Langston all by himself now, needing another pack of riders to catch. But I thought Kelly had a deal lined up with Kawasaki to ride their new 254 stroke, but maybe that fell through, and he seems to be sporting a little bit of Yamaha Troy stuff lately, so keep our eye on that.
Plus 40 and focus. That's for James Stewart. The 40, oh my goodness. The 40 is 40 seconds, folks. That is the lead that this young man has on the rest of the field. David, this kid is off the hook.
Are you sure that wasn't his score for that whip? I know it only goes to 10, but yeah, he's having fun out there.
On the final lap of the day, Team Bubba Stewart is out in front in a convincing manner. And I say team because there's a lot of great people. If you look at the lap times, he is just on fire. A lot of great people have gotten him to this point. This kid is a phenomenal rider, but the folks at Kawasaki, Fox, Oakley have been taking care of him, put him in the right position. His mechanic, can't say enough about mechanics. Jeremy Albrecht, one of the best in the business. You talk, of course, about Gosler, Chad Watts. I mean, my guy back home, Toby Roberts. These guys keep our machines running. As the checker flag comes out, James Bubba Stewart picks up yet another win, and what a dominating performance.
Almost a minute lead over Ryan Hughes in second. I don't really think he cares about him that much. He just wants to make sure he beats Grant. But, yeah, James, still amazing, just like last year. Still a win, same thing, but much different feeling. Last year he wrapped up the championship, his first championship ever, and this year still got a long ways to go to try to close in on these guys. He's going to need a lot of luck to knock this guy off the top spot.
So Langston came into this race as the overall leader, number 111 on the KTM. He finishes 10th in the first moto as James continues to impress the crowd. This kid is absolutely phenomenal. His riding ability, his personality, he has it all. Right now, let's check in with Cameron Steele, who's with Grant Langston.
Grant, a true champion, never surrenders. You charged hard all the way through that moto, but I want to ask you, second corner, was there contact with you and James?
Yeah, I came in the turn and he just hit me, took me out. I mean, we both, I'm racing for a championship, and fair enough, he can go out and, pass clean. He doesn't need to do that. I'm pretty pissed about the situation, but what goes around comes around. I'll give it back to him.
I want to ask you, it's 5 corners later in the track, and you see it's James Stewart behind you. He's not in the points race with you. Would you have just let him by?
No, I'm not just going to pull over and let him by, but I'm not going to try whatever I can to hold him back or cut him off. I never have, so you know what? If that's how he wants to play, I'll give it right back to him.
Nice job, good race, and we'll see you in moto number 2, Grant.
Thanks.
With a title on the line, the intensity picks up. Back to Binghamton in just a moment. Welcome back. A beautiful day, fantastic racing. Let's take in the sights and sounds of Broome, Tioga by virtue of the Racer X Pit Pass. It's now time to check out the highlights from the Altex Computers Motocross competition and the Women's Motocross League.
So much has been said about James Stewart winning every moto since he's been back, about Carmichael's perfect season last year, this streak, that streak, and Steffi Lair, number 110 on the KTM. Perfect so far this season in the Women's Motocross League. Sarah Whitmore right here coming down the downhill. Got close, 2 seconds, but no one has been able to stop Steffi Lair so far this season. 250 points. She is running away with this championship.
And as David pointed out, Steffi Lair goes 1-1. Then it's Whitmore, Tara Geiger, Tanya Satchwell, and Alex Houghton. And from Mickey Keller's WML, we go back to Moto 1 highlights and standings from the Honda official results. It's James Stewart who picked up the win. Ryan Hughes, Brock Sellards finished a top 3. Grant Langston, that was the big story, went down in that first turn, number 111, has to settle for a 10th place finish. So disappointment for Grant Langston, obviously. But for more on the man who finished in second place and who was chasing that title, let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Well, Rhino, at second place, you talked about you want to win this championship. Grant having bad luck getting in a tangle with James at the beginning of the race. Did you know how far back he was?
Yeah, I saw him fall down in the first turn. I had no idea what happened. I just saw him laying on the ground, you know, and because I was about 4th or 5th. And you know, I just tried to ride my race. Even if he was up, if he crashed, I was going to ride, you know, Ryan Hughes' race and not anybody else's. And you know, I just took my time to get around Brock. It took me a while to get a rhythm out there, but once I got a rhythm, then it was good.
You guys were joking about the lines. What were you guys talking about?
Oh, he just found a really good line going down in one of the dips where you didn't actually, you missed the dip. It was way to the left, but it was a pretty cool line.
But it's not cheating if there's no banners, right? I heard you say that.
Yeah, it's fair. It was cool.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. Well, there is the point standings after Moto number 1. Hughes just 5 points out, and look at the chunk that James Bubba Stewart picked up. This is going to be a race to the finish. For more on this, let's check in with Cameron Steele.
Well, James, an amazing race. At one point, I see J-Bone with 42nd lead on your pit board. I want to ask you, though, second corner, you and Grant Langston going for the same spot. Was there contact, and what happened?
Nah, you know, Cameron, you know, I think Rhino got second. And, you know, we all know I got to catch him still, so I'm not in championship hunt. You know, I'm out here just racing. And, you know, he just kind of cut the corner a little bit shorter than I thought he would be. And, you know, I went in that corner the same speed every lap, so it wasn't like I was trying to hit him. But, you know, I want to say sorry. I'm not in championship. So, you know, tough luck. You know, it's racing. And, you know, oh, well, I'm ready for the next moto. I feel great. And now to do it again.
Do it again is right. You're trying to win all the races going out. Now, are you thinking about this championship, James?
No, I'll tell you right now, it's, you know, just trying to win motos and, you know, get some records. And I really don't care anymore. I'm just trying to have a good time, you know. I mean, of course I care, but, you know, the more I think about it, the sadder I get. And, you know, I'm just out here racing, and I'm having a good time.
Well, talking about having a good time, you know, a couple weeks back we did something that was kind of fun. Why don't you tell the people what it was, and we're going to show it to them.
Oh, yeah. Surfacross. You know, Bubba does surf. I didn't think so, but I can actually surf, and I won. You know, I'm the best surfer around, the best motocross surfer. But, you know, it was cool. My mechanic did a great job. Jeremy Albrecht, Mark Parson, they did a great job, and, you know, it was cool. Check it out. Should be good.
Cameron Steele, he's not pro.
I'm not pro, look.
You're right there. What do you think that is?
That doesn't fit.
You're pro.
Pro, moto.
We didn't have boogie on it.
Hey, you're racing with me. Nice. I mean, you're in a battle with all these guys, Roncada, Langston, Ream, Stewart.
If everybody starts from the gate backwards, I might be able to beat him with the first corner. MC's here.
I know. You got all the top dogs.
I thought he would ride outdoors. Right here, Randy. You're pro, right?
Sure.
Pro industry.
Come on. You're the sandbagger.
Pro industry.
You gotta surf.
Hey, you got to. I'm just not really feeling it.
What about the moto? You feeling that?
I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it.
Hey, James, watch out. There's a TV camera right there, buddy.
I know. I just now realized you're here, dude.
See? I'm here. Can't get rid of me.
I know, I like it.
You ride your dirt bike and things happen. Welcome to Surfercross. How's your surfing? But you got third 2 years ago?
Yeah, I got third with you.
Yeah, pro teammates. No kid. If we meet teammates again, he'd be really bummed because he could be teammates with Bubba or Reedy.
But they got to surf.
Billman. Oh yeah, they got to surf.
I got to be able to surf.
10 laps. It sounds easy at first, but once you get in about 5 or 6 of them, the surfer comes out in you for sure.
So, do you have pressure knowing that you're with Bubba?
Heck yeah. Too much pressure.
I know.
You know, I'm pumped. This first year I came to it, so it should be pretty cool. I'm kind of interested to see how it is, and I'm not ready to surf, but we'll see how it is.
Beach time.
Out there. There's no fast laps out there.
Buddy filled in for me on the fast lap one time and made fun of me, so today, Bud, it's my turn to whoop you.
Oh, geez, I'm talking way too much trash. I need to go sit down.
Predictions?
5 minutes. I'm going to beat this guy.
5:24 to go. I don't know about that. Talk's cheap.
He's lost with that. He's boogie board.
Yeah, I need my sponge. I can take the heat from these guys. I'm not afraid.
How was I?
Was he good?
Funny, I think probably us moto guys surfing. I don't know, we suck.
I'm gonna die.
I'm a racer, dude. I'm not a surfer. I'll be the first person to hop out and bail out this thing. I got other things to do besides get 8, so I don't we'll see.
Well, I turned. Guess that's what counts. Caught a couple waves. Still want to finish last, that's for sure. So, we'll see how it goes. Pretty amped.
For me, I think I did average, but for him, I think he did really good. Really good. I don't know. I did way better than last year anyway.
Nah, I got the best partner out there. He's great in motocross and, you know, great in surfing, so everything's great. And, you know, I'm pumped. First year ever, and we won it, so it's awesome.
Right in the nose, James. Hang 5, buddy. Go for it. He's moving up. Oh!
When we come back, James Bubba Stewart returns to what he does best, dry land in moto number 2.
On ESPN.
And welcome back to Broome Tioga Sports Center in Binghamton, New York. This is round 10 of the AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship. That's Grant Langston, the current overall leader, looking for a better result, David, than he did in moto number 1, where he got a 10th. And here they are, cutting down the shortcut of Ryan Hughes.
Yeah, it wasn't so much a shortcut as it was just turning into a good line. They want to keep these guys off the grass on the actual racetrack. And Grant talked about what goes around comes around. He's got to catch James first.
Well, guys, right there behind me, you can see Ryan Hughes, the 105 bike. He's now just 5 points behind his teammate Grant Langston after moto number 1. They're getting set for moto number 2, but what I want to do right now is I want to show you some footage from when I went out on the track, show you the vantage point of what it's like from the rider's view. I put the camera on top of my helmet, and we call it the Sorby Suzuki Fast Lap. Get started with a pretty long start straight into a right-hand turn. You'll go over what will be the finish line, and then a left-hander up into 2 uphill double jumps. Go under the trees, make a right, downhill, big step-down jump. That's going to take you into a super rutted left-hand turn towards the supercross section. Set up here for a tabletop. Can be a triple. The big dogs be landing down here. Double out. Pick a line in the left-hand turn. You can see already running up. This is the rhythm section. Double, doubles for me. Triple, triple, triples for the big guys. And then a right-hand turn, just kind of off camber. Here you have a sweeping, gooey left-hand turn into an uphill double jump. Don't want to over-jump it. You're going to hurt your back. All the way up the hill, couple left-hand turns, and then it gets tricky. You got to drop down into a right horseshoe, back up over the hill, and then down once again, left hand off camber, setting you up for the big uphill and then the long downhill. Over this hill, look at these lines. Rust everywhere. They're deep. I'm going inside. Smooth there, but look at this setup. Big brakey bump, a big hole before, and slippery. Getting past, this is terrible. Look at the rocks. It's flying at you. Third gear over the top of this tabletop jump. Some air, land, and then look at the brakey bumps. They're like 2 feet tall. Careful, you're not going to go over the bars there. And then this is a super booter. Hitting that wide open. It's going to hurt if you land hard. Step down. Didn't quite get it this time. And then sideline, cheater line to stay down. And that's going to take you through these little whoop sections into the big super kicker jump. Big whipper. After that big double, you got a left, and this is going to take you into the triple step down. A lot of guys are going to double, but some guys will triple. Then more braking bumps and a right-hand turn back up the hill, another left, and then that's going to put you into a little setup double, a G out, a tabletop past the start line, a right turn, and over the finish line for your Sorby Suzuki Fast Lap.
Thanks, Cameron. getting punked a little bit today. First it was the boogie board, then it was the 241s out there. But hey, man, I give you credit for getting out there, and I give even more credit to James Stewart for getting out there in that surf and he's actually catching a few waves, man. Good job.
James put on quite a show at the Fox Surfer Cross as we take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. The 30 board is sideways, and we are set to go racing here at Broome Tioga Sports Center in Binghamton, New York. James Stewart on the inside. David, he's got a great line. Can he hold it? 4 or 5 riders going down. It does not look like it's any of our front runners. Craig Anderson, number 109, is in that mix.
Tim Wagon right there, number 280, just getting going. Well, you're right, none of the front runners. Stewart getting the lead, doesn't have to deal with Langston this time, doesn't want to hear any more of that.
Well, I'll give him credit. I mean, I think he felt bad about it. He said he was sorry, didn't mean to do it. And I don't think he intentionally meant to do it. I know how frustrated, though, Grant Langston is, and that is part of racing, unfortunately. Meanwhile, James Stewart, number 259, the man who currently sits in 3rd place overall in the point standings, and you heard him tell Cameron he doesn't think he's going to get the championship. He's just out there about motoing, and look at the distance already.
That must just be a freaky thing for the crowd, the people that haven't seen him race yet live. He comes down the downhill, and he's almost at the bottom before the rest of the pack comes into view. I mean, it's just unbelievable what this kid does every week. If he doesn't get the start, he's in the lead so fast, it's as though he did get the whole shot. There's a look at the way he came off the gate. A good start for Josh Woods, closes out Hughes right away.
Brock Sellards on the outside looked like he was going to get it as well, but he just did not have the angle. Watch this corner.
Well, what's interesting about the way James went into the inside is that he wasn't the first one to shut off. Usually the guy on the far inside, he can gas it in there and let off a little bit early, tuck it around the inside. He actually shut off the same time as everybody else and still stopped on a dime and came out in the lead.
Well, he's got more than a 5-second leading. We are just getting things started as we go back to the battle for 5th place right now as James Bubba Stewart is starting to check out once again.
Boniface right there, number 55. James Suzuki, he switched his gears. He's going down.
Ryan Hughes gets ejected from his bike, and fortunately, he lands like a cat on his feet. All I could think about was that broken bone in his leg. Looks like he's okay, gets the bike up and running. So Grant Langston has his problems in Moto 1. Ryan Hughes has his problems in Moto 2. And look at this, David, back to 21st place.
Well, it could have been a lot worse. You know, he could have bent the bike. It looks like it's okay. He could have gotten hurt or hit by somebody. There's Josh Hansen right behind him. But Rhino, watch him come up this space. They're watered and a little bit slick, I think. Oh, yeah, absolutely. He just hit a slick spot. It was kind of disguised by some of that loose soil on top. Almost took Langston with him. Wouldn't that have been something?
Unbelievable.
That's the corner, as a matter of fact, when Langston and Brown were going at it for the titles next to the last race, where I think it was Langston went in there and took the front wheel of Brown. So plenty of action coming down the stretch here for this championship once again.
The ruts are starting to pile up, and James Bubba Stewart is starting to turn over some fast lap times at 2:19.2. There is no one. Look at this.
That's only 22 seconds faster than Cameron.
Just barely. Hughes back up and running as we get a nice friendly jab into our good friend Cameron Steele. Cameron, we love you, brother. Anyways, Ryan Hughes continues to run now. He's got to work himself back up to the pack. And all of these guys, as James has said, James is out there just to win motos. But for Ryan Hughes and Grant Langston, it's all about a title. Look at this.
And Rhino trying to split through Richie Owens right there in the Kawasaki, his first year in the Nationals. Number 318. Rhino's going to muscle his way into the inside of the, Owens doing a good job to square back around him, but
Rhino came in a little too hot there.
Rhino's going to get that back. And I like Rhino's philosophy, too. I was talking to him one time at Mammoth, and he's out mixed in with amateurs, and he's just so aggressive with everybody. He goes, hey, if I get my front wheel in front of theirs, I'm taking my lines. And you saw an example of that as he cut back in front of Owens as he approached the downhill.
Meanwhile, the battle for 6th now, and that's 111. Grant Langston on the KTM. Trying to get a much better finish. Remember, he got 10th in Moto number 1, looking for a better finish as he is the overall points leader, and he sits in 6th place at the time being.
Well, it's a good thing he's not out front first or second. That would cause a little bit of a panic in Hughes. I think Rhino's still riding along, keeping his head, realizing there's a long ways to go, and he can still get up in there and salvage something. But you sure hate to lose that. He's only down by 5, and it could go back to around 8 or 10 or so.
It's deja vu all over again from Binghamton. Bubba's your leader, back in a moment. What started out as a 3-rider battle for the 2001 125 title turned into a 2-rider brawl by the time the series entered the 11th of 12 rounds. Grant Langston had a 3-point gap in the championship and held the early advantage on Mike Brown in Moto number 1. However, Brown quickly moved to the field and aggressively put aside his rival. Langston would not give up, and by the time the last lap rolled around, he had his shot at redemption after a Brown miscue. Langston gets the better of Brown in Moto number 1.
That's how you're not real aggressive and, just return the favor on the last lap.
The roles were reversed in Moto number 2 as Brown shot ahead while Langston played catch-up. Langston got by number 10 Larry Ward and then began pressuring Brown. Brownie stumbles in a tricky section of the track and gives the South African an unchallenged pass to the checkers and a 1-1 sweep. More importantly, was a 9-point cushion in the points.
So here we go again. Langston holding the points lead right now, and it's not Brown, but it's Ryan Hughes. So similar to Mike Brown that he's kind of a bulldog. He tries hard, he can get aggressive if he needs to, and he always finishes the races and the series strong.
Grant Langston currently sitting in 6th place. Remind you, he got a 10th in the first moto. Ryan Hughes has been shuffled to the back of the pack after that nasty get-off. Fortunately, he's okay. It looks like his bike's okay, but he has got some traffic as he is in a battle for 12th place right now, finishing 2nd in the first moto.
What's working for Rhino in his favor right now is he's got a pack of riders in front of him. All those guys he can get around are points. You remember in the first moto, he just blows by Boniface right there. The first moto, Langston caught up to pretty much a big gap in the pack. There was 100 yards or so up to the next rider he could catch and pass and get some points on. So a little bit better opportunity in this moto for Ryan Hughes. Here he is getting around Boniface, who I wondered, after the KTM whole team riding issue last week at Millville, of how that would all play out with him switching to factory Suzuki this week. But in both motos, Rhino in this one and Langston in the first moto, those guys having no problem getting around it.
This is Ryan Hughes in 11th place. As David pointed out, there's several markers for him to pick up, so he can move up. Everyone at KTM concerned about Grant Langston and Ryan Hughes. Right now, let's send it down to the infield where Cameron Steele has a report.
Well, after moto number 1, you guys were only 5 points down. Was Ryan pretty excited about it in the trailer, or was he just calm and collected?
He was very, very calm. Just no worries.
No emotion, so to speak. Just thinking about the championship turn of events here. He fell over. Are you worried about him trying to charge too hard after he fell over?
No, I think he's going to ride with his head. He won't do anything crazy.
I see the smirk there. We'll see how it works out, but I know he's capable of doing crazy things.
That's for sure. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Cameron. Back to racing action. This is moto number 2 in the 125 class AMA Chevy Trucks U.S. Motocross Championship from Broome Tioga Sports Center in Binghamton, New York. Todd Harris along with the champ David Bailey and, of course, Cameron Steele. We've got a rider that's pulled over. That's Michael Brandis, who had a great Moto 1 run, David.
This is kind of Brandis for you, though. He has good motos, and then he has motos where he's sitting on the side of the track. And when he's out there, he's solid.
Nobody's solid. Oh, my goodness.
The ruts, the bumps, the jumps, whatever. It's all a bunch of fun for him, And the rest of these guys look at these ruts like, man, it's rutted on that downhill. James is looking at it like, maybe I can wheelie over them all and just rail the berm at the bottom every lap. That'd be pretty cool.
We're looking at 105 on the KTM. That's Ryan Hughes trying to work his way back up into the pack after the get-off. Brock Sellards, number 18, coming into view here on the Yamaha. Had a great first run, was running in 2nd place for a while behind James Stewart before he was overtaken by Hughes in moto number 1.
While we're on to solid, how about Kelly Smith?
Yeah.
He's setting himself up for a really good day here. It's not just that he's getting good starts and staying up there. He's a good rider, When he gets around the fast guys, he can battle with everybody. A little mistake over here, it looks like. It's going to cost the position. Langston moving up, looks like one more.
So Grant Langston, number 111, on board the KTM in 5th place. So a 10 and a 5 sounds a lot better than a 10 and a 10, David, but I'm sure he's just going to just hate the fact that he got a 10th in that Moto 1.
Well, the saving grace there is that Rhino had some problems in this moto, so he's going to get those points back. Now watch Byrne as he approaches this double. He gets all swirly, almost goes off the track, makes a nice save, but he can't do that double right there. And that's what let Langston jump up to the inside. There he comes into the picture and just had a better run at him going up the hill. So you love when he's trying to pick riders off and they make it easier for you like that.
Well, 111 Grant Langston has not had an easy day, as we pointed out several times. He got a 10th in the first moto. Right now, he is sitting in the pack, and there's word that there are possible riding orders coming down from the team. He's got Josh Woods in front of him. Will Woods yield up a position to Grant Langston? We'll find out when we come back for the finale from Binghamton. And welcome back to Binghamton, New York. Your leader, James Bubba Stewart, number 259, is running away once again with yet another moto.
Look at the way he flicked that bike over that little double coming out of the corner there, just violent, you know? We talked about how fast he's been going into that corner all day long, and the one where he made a little bit of contact, I guess, with Langston. And I don't know, I mean, it looked like he was trying to avoid that. He's just so fast, if he happens to touch you on the way by, he's like, well, sorry, get out of the way.
Meanwhile, Kelly Smith has moved up to second place. Grant Langston is still right behind Josh Woods. We'll see if Woods yields for him. And meanwhile, watch the arrow. That's Brock Sellards, who was basically dropping off the pace. And David, I don't know, I'm not a mechanic, but it looks like the bike just shuts down.
Well, he was doing a big nosedive in the air, did a big swap, and then went off to the side of the track. So that doesn't look like it was anything to do with him. I think it could have been a bike.
Oh my, you gotta be kidding me. James continues to put on a show here, and I don't know what else to say. That kid is unbelievable.
He's looking over at Craig Anderson as he whipped it off that jump like, hey, didn't you win a national this year in Southwick? Yeah, I wasn't at that one.
You have to start to wonder if James could have come back one race earlier, how that changes the landscape of everything.
It completely changed.
Meanwhile, your overall leader in the point standings is 111, Grant Langston. He just picks up a spot, and I know Josh Woods is not the kind of rider to just lay over, but it was a nice transition for Grant Langston into third place, and that's going to help him with the points.
You know, I think this whole team order thing, I think it's more like team suggestions. Like, hey, use your head. You know, I mean, the money that we pay you with comes from selling motorcycles and winning championships. And while James is doing all that he can possibly do, they're just asking the guys at KTM, hey, you know, this is a great big team, and we try to do the best for everybody and have money to go around, and use your head out there. And Josh just did that.
Enough said. Grant Langston, after a very disappointing first moto, comes back. He will finish in third place here in moto number 2, and now we start the Bubba watch as he goes through. Not only is he riding a wheelie, he's giving high fives while he's riding a wheelie. The kid is unbelievable, folks. As we take a look at the Honda official results, it's James Stewart once again, then Kelly Smith and Grant Langston. Ryan Hughes does a tremendous job working his way all the way up to 6th place. Well, what a fantastic day of racing, perfect weather, everything worked out. Let's send it down to Cameron.
Well, Grant, the points championship, obviously the factor, getting a couple points on your teammate. It worked out the way you thought it would in moto number 2 after a heartbreaking moto 1.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't get the best gate pick, and I got an okay start, but just every lap caught up a little bit, made a couple passes, and I ended up third, so I can't complain with third place.
Well done, Grant Langston. As we take a look at the Honda official results for the overall, it's James Stewart going 1-1. Kelly Smith on the podium, and Ryan Hughes third, Josh Woods and Grant Langston rounding out the top 5 for the overall today from Broome Tioga Sports Center. Let's go back to Cameron.
Well, guys, have you ever seen something so phenomenal? James Stewart just stomping him once again. Now, if I'm not mistaken, in races you've entered 17 motos in a row you've won and 14 overalls.
Me? I guess I'm doing all right, man. Yeah, you know, got a whole shot. First whole shot of the year, I'm pumped. You know what, I could have pulled off the track the first lap. You know, the Chevy Trucks Kawasaki got me out to a great start and everything, and just rode my race. I think I know what, about 53 seconds this moto, 54 the first moto. So overall, it was a great day. You know, the fan service was great and everything, and just having a good time.
some other riders getting in between you and the points leaders. Come on, James, you got to be thinking about this championship, even though the KTM guys are saying, oh, he's not really a factor.
Yeah, they say that. They can say that. They'll say it. You know, when I'm winning a race, oh, we're not worried about it. We're trying to get second. Oh, well, you know, if they think like that, oh, well, I'm out here racing, I'm winning, so they have to be worried about me, and I don't care.
I like that statement. A great job, James.
Thanks, Cameron.
Well, Kelly, a second moto number 2, second overall. You got a little blood on your face, but hey, if there's no blood in the picture, you're really not trying hard enough.
Yeah, a little pain, no gain, I guess. I got a pretty good start that second moto. I was hoping for a little better one. First one, I didn't get the best start, and only worked my way up to 5th. And that time, I was following Brock like the whole moto, trying to get around me. Threw a few rocks in my face, as you can see, and something happened to his bike the last lap, and it was kind of weird. It was on the backside of the jump. Luckily, I saw him and kind of swerved over in the air and got around him, and I'm pumped to get a second overall. It's good.
Nicely done, Kelly.
Thanks a lot.
I want to ask you, before this race, did you think you would jump that many points, or did you think you'd be crawling closer to Grant?
You know what? I didn't know. I just was trying to concentrate on riding smooth, riding my race, and what happened, happened. And, you know, he didn't put in the best performance today, and, you know, I did one race, but not the other one. So I just got to be a little bit more consistent and just chipping away. But now, if I beat him by 2 points every moto, I think I might be in front of him. I don't know. Before, it wouldn't have happened. So, you know, now we're a little bit closer.
Nice job, Rhino. We'll see how it works out for this season.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, David, so let's get the folks with the abacus out. You can see Hughes 10 points down. What do you think happens with only 2 races to go?
Well, it's a great problem for KTM to have, but, you know, when you look at the fact that Josh led by Langston possibly there at the end, he didn't let by Hughes, who's only another couple positions further back. So I think there's going to be some more tension over there from here on out. And James looks like he's going to come up a little bit too short. But he looks cool doing it.
For the champ and Cameron, I'm Todd Harris saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.